Thank you for joining us for our first patient memorial service. We're honoring the anatomical donors to the Willed Body program at the Alabama College of Osteopathic Medicine. Each year, our college holds this service to remember those that have donated to further the medical education of the next generation of osteopathic physicians. We are disappointed that we could not gather in person to honor our donors this year, but we hope that this virtual service will convey our gratitude for the impact that your loved one has made.
As Associate Dean of Anatomy and Molecular Medicine, I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to our donors. Anatomy is an essential portion of medical education that provides an in-depth understanding of the human body. The wealth of knowledge gained through their priceless gift of body donation extends beyond the classroom. These donors served as the medical students' first patients during their gross anatomy course, and for the students, the memory of their first patient will guide them as they care for countless patients yet to come. Today, you will hear from several of our first-year students as they express their appreciation to their first patients.
To the family and friends of our first patient, we would first like to thank you for trusting us with your loved one, and most importantly, we would like to express our immense gratitude for our first patient's choice to donate his body to our program. Our first patient impacted us in a way we never would have imagined before coming to medical school. Our first patient taught us lessons and gave us new perspectives that went far beyond anything we could have studied in a textbook. Not only did he allow us to learn the anatomy of the human body through human touch, but he also kept us grounded. We were able to appreciate the generosity of our first patient and be reminded each and every day why we are here in medical school, for the patients. The vital knowledge gained from our first patient will be with us for the rest of our lives and will help us provide the best quality of care for future generations. We are so grateful for the opportunity to learn from such a selfless and compassionate person, and we promise to never forget the invaluable lessons learned to heal others during our lifetimes devoted to medicine.
On a warm Wednesday in late February, I met a gentleman who informed me that he had just wheeled himself to the ACOM Willed Body program. I'm telling all my friends that when I die, I will go to teach anatomy at ACOM. I thanked him profusely for this gift and watched in awe as he drove off, marveling at my good fortune. To have met a potential first patient live and in person, and to have a chance to express my appreciation was, I believe, one of the greatest gifts I could have received as a student in my medical journey. Although we had only been in school for almost 2 weeks before we were formally introduced, I believe the true onset of my journey as a student doctor was the day I met my first patient. I promptly named them Dr. Mallard, after my favorite fictional TV character. For those who do not know, Dr. Mallard is the amazing British forensic pathologist on the long-running show NCIS. One of the reasons I love him is how he speaks of the dead. If you listen closely, he says, the dead will talk. Those who have passed on, even without the benefit of a voice, always have the best stories to tell. With their bodies, our first patients each told a unique tale. The hair, or lack thereof, of a heartbreaking cancer diagnosis and a subsequent arduous journey into remission. The brain of a fighter with a tumor for the opponent. The freckles of a free-spirited soul with a fondness for the outdoors, the fine scars of a double mastectomy, calloused hands of a hard worker, the pacemaker in the heart that just needed a little extra help, the space below the liver where a gallbladder should have been, and the legs and feet of paths well trodden and hopefully very fulfilling lives lived. Modern technology might one day make programs such as the Willed Body obsolete, but those of us who get to experience the generosity of our first patients will always appreciate their contribution to our medical student training. And to their families, I say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share your parent, your sibling, grandparent with us. Thank you for understanding the importance of this most wonderful gift they provided to us. Because of them, we perfected our understanding of concepts in the classroom. Because of them, we saw firsthand the inner machinery of our bodies in health and the many, many ways in which our perfectly ordered systems could go haywire. Because of them, and because of you, we are one step closer to achieving our dream of saving and treating lives. I'd never looked at my patient as a teacher, my first patient as a teacher, and that's exactly who they are. And they are, quite literally, the best hands-on teacher a student could ever have. To our first patients, and to my very own Dr. Mallard, words cannot express what this means to me. Being a teacher, even in death, we will emerge from this journey as caregivers in life and health, and this would be in no small part due to the incredible gesture of our first patients. So once again, I say thank you.
Hello everyone, and thank you for viewing this ceremony and remembering and in reflecting upon an exceptional sacrifice and gift. My name is Grant Simons, and I'm a first-year medical student here at ACOM. I'm honored to be able to express my gratitude for the gift your family member made to our medical educations and lives. I hope to demonstrate how remembering and acknowledging the generosity of your loved one has contributed to the growth and development of not only myself, but also my colleagues and peers. I would like to take a moment to state that it is difficult to lose a loved one and that should be addressed. It gives me pause and humbles me to think of the great gift of knowledge that I have been given because of your loved one's wishes, at the bond forged between my group mates and I because of our experience, and at this demonstration of the full strength of humanity and how their sacrifice as our first patient will echo throughout our careers and lives. I felt called to speak today in a sense of duty to try and convey an understanding of what your loved one gave to us as students. My few words will never be able to approach what you must feel at your loss or what it meant to us to meet your family member. But I do hope that they will bolster and cement in your minds, hearts, and souls that decision that they made was for something worthwhile. Their sacrifice will surely equate to the saving of many lives by this class of future doctors, and I like to think that that was why they chose to be a part of the ACOM Willed Body program. Finally, I thank you for listening, and I hope that my words were able to bring you some comfort or peace of mind. I want to make you aware of how sincerely and utterly appreciative we are to have been able to learn from your loved one.
The human body is a wonder of complex anatomy and elaborate function. Proficiency in medicine cannot simply be learned in a classroom or read in a textbook. It must be seen, it must be felt, it must be applied. There is no substitute for the experience we gained from our first patient. Medical school is a time full of excitement as we look forward to our bright futures and all of the good that we can accomplish. It is also a time of apprehension as we must overcome our lack of experience and tendency to make mistakes. Through the time spent with our first patient, we were able to develop our skills and integrate our understanding in a way that enabled us to become confident in ourselves and in our abilities. In addition to the practical knowledge and skills to be developed, we learned truly valuable lessons in dignity and respect, which we will carry with us in our careers as physicians. Thanks to the kindness of our first patients, we gained perspective and comprehension that we will use with each and every patient we treat. We are humbled by the generosity of our first patients and grateful for the kindness of their friends, family, and loved ones.
The most valuable thing that we have each been gifted with is our ability to live a life. Our body tells the story of that life, of each moment that we hold in our hearts, our minds, written on our skin, and defined by the smile lines on our cheeks and by our eyes. Your family member graciously handed that life to us so that we can learn from them, so that in each moment that we spend with them beside us, we could feel the impact of their life, an impact which is not solely defined by the time that their spirit was on this earth, but also the everlasting impact they will have long after they have entered a beautiful place of peace. I looked at the tattoos on my first patient, imagining the life that he lived and the moments that were so remarkable and uplifting to him that he wished to carry them with him eternally, knowing that I will also carry them with me eternally. Your family member's spirit will hold my hand as I seek a journey to heal others, and I promise to continue the beautiful impact that they added to your lives while they were earthly. While I cannot directly thank my first patient for their selflessness, I wish that today and every day you can feel my gratitude to them and to you as their family for letting me be a part of their journey and a part of their life story.
The relationship between a medical student and their first patient is a unique one. While I never had a conversation with my first patient, she will always be the patient I know the most about, have spent the most time with, and learned the most from. She is the patient who helped build the foundation of my medical knowledge. As every ACOM student advances in their education, everything we learn builds upon what our first patients taught us. Each of us will leave our first year of medical school a better student physician thanks to the contributions of your loved ones. The generosity of our first patients and their willingness to invest in our education is something we are deeply grateful for. The loss of a loved one is a wound that never fully heals. But I hope today brings you comfort knowing that the memory and generosity of your loved one will live on in the hundreds of medical students who learn from them, as well as the tens of thousands of patients we will go on to care for.
The oyster of knowledge. The world was once your oyster. Then your world became my oyster. And inside of your world, I found a pearl. That pearl of knowledge will forever be with me. Thank you for your service. Thank you for contributing to my education.
I wanted to speak today because I want to extend my gratitude to my first patient and share with their family what my experience meant to me. I am the first person in my family to pursue a career in medicine. I was overwhelmed to start medical school, and I have spent a lot of time talking to my parents about my experiences. After hearing about all I have learned and how much it meant to me, my dad has decided to donate his body to a medical school program similar to the one at ACOM. So it was through this lens that I interacted with my first patient, and if I could speak with them today, there would be many things I would want to say to them. First, I would say that I am grateful for their investment in my future. It is so incredible for someone to believe in us enough to give back in such a meaningful way. I would tell them my education would not have been the same without them, and that their gift was more meaningful to me than I can express in words. I would also tell them I will take my experience as a first-year medical student with me through the rest of my education, but also every time I interact with a patient. To honor their gift, I will push myself to be the best physician I can, treating each patient with care and dignity. Again, I cannot express how much it meant to me to have them believe in us as students and future physicians. Thank you so much. To my first patient's family, I want to say I know I can never know your loved one the way that you did, but I want you to know they made a lasting impact on not only my education but in my life. They were there for us at the very beginning of our introduction to this profession, and they will be with us throughout our careers. I feel so honored by their gift to us as students. I will remember my first patient for the rest of my life, and it was such a special experience and truly an honor to be allowed this privilege.
Thank you to the generous person who donated for the sake of allowing aspiring physicians like myself to be able to learn from his donation. I know that my classmates and I were able to grow from the experience of learning from his donation and are more equipped to help people who find themselves in similar medical situations in the future. I hope he and his family can be assured that we appreciate his donation and view him as our first patient, our first glimpse into the world of becoming a physician where precious lives like his are under our care to respect, to protect, and to do no harm to. I hope he and his family felt as empowered in making the decision to donate to aid in our teachings as the way we were empowered as future physicians by learning from his donation. I also hope his family will see how much of a difference he made in each of our journeys, which is a legacy that will truly never be forgotten by us through our careers and beyond. I am confident that we are entirely more equipped to handle not only the complexities of medicine through the lessons that we learn from his invaluable donation, but we will also be more equipped to understand life's fragility and how to respect each patient through the gravity of recognizing and respecting the life that we had a privilege of learning from. I know I can speak for all of my classmates in giving him and his loved ones my most sincere gratitude.
First off, I'd like to share a little bit of history with you all. I'm not sure if you all know, but Leonardo da Vinci was one of the first anatomists striving for his artworks to be flawless. In his composition of the Mona Lisa and the First Supper, he portrayed not only outer beauty, but also what came from within. Like Da Vinci, I view the human body as a masterpiece. From the beat of your own heart, to the ability to stretch your muscles in a variety of ways, to something as simple as the ability to perceive the touch when someone hugs you with the rush of hormones released that accompanies it. Although I loved seeing how his version of anatomy evolved as he learned more and reading through the literature, there's nothing quite like seeing the human anatomy for yourself. To the family of my first patient, I want you to know his story went on beyond his last heartbeat, and he will forever be cherished at our first patient memorial. Although I did not know him before he passed, I know that he must have been an altruistic man through such a selfless act as giving one's body to science. Your loved one not only taught me anatomy, but also taught me that there are truly giving and caring people in this world. I would like to thank him for the gift of knowledge, a gift that will last a lifetime as we will now be more competent future physicians.
Overall, I would like to thank him and his family for this once-in-a-lifetime experience to intimately learn the anatomy of the human body.
In 2018, ACOM established a unique memorial to honor our first patients. This granite structure and garden provides a place for students and family members of the donor to visit and reflect as they remember their loved one. Each year, the names of these donors are engraved on the wall as an indelible tribute to their priceless gift. We remember these first patients today and thank them for their lasting impact.
My first patient taught me that every life is precious.
My first patient taught me what a masterpiece the human body is.
My first patient taught me to always be humble.
My first patient taught me compassion.
My first patient taught me the power of the patient-doctor bond.
My first patient taught me service and sacrifice.
My first patient taught me humility and gratitude through education.
My first patient taught me courage.
My first patient taught me the value of sacrifice.
My first patient taught me to respect all patients, irrespective of status or situation.